happy MS Awareness Monday. I'm going to be sharing today about what optimal wellness looks like for people living with multiple sclerosis. So optimal management of MS involves disease-modifying therapies, symptom management medications, and overall lifestyle interventions, which is kind of a topic that I love if you know anything about me. But first, we're going to touch on disease-modifying therapies, or DMTs is another way people have mentioned them sometimes. So back in 1993, the first disease-modifying therapy for multiple sclerosis came out, and it was in the form of a shot. And over the course of the last almost 30 years, we are now up to almost 20. I think there's like 20 medications out there, which is incredible how much things have advanced just over the last 30 years. The types of medications that are out there range from shots to oral medications to infusions. And so there's a lot of different options out there now, which is a huge blessing because back when I was diagnosed back in 2005, there were only 4 medications available. And they were all in the form of a shot. And so for about 4.5 years, I gave myself an intramuscular shot once a week. And often these disease-modifying therapies can have side effects to them. And so I had like flu-like symptoms probably for about 4.5 years. But I think one of the most important things that my neurologist told me when I first got diagnosed was the purpose of disease-modifying therapies. And I think often sometimes, especially in the culture that we live in now, everybody wants a quick fix. I want my symptoms to go away and I want to feel better. And what I really appreciate about the neurologist that I saw when I first got diagnosed, he explained the purpose of disease-modifying therapies. He explained that the purpose of the medication was to slow down the progression of the disease, to preserve mobility, to reduce lesions. And really what I did that day would benefit me in the future. That really wasn't for today to feel better, but it was really to help preserve mobility and to reduce disability in the future. And so I can say 15 years later that that advice is very true. Had I not gone on medication when I did, I honestly don't know where I would be today. A lot of research is showing that early intervention with disease-modifying therapies within those first 5 years can be huge for your outcome. And so anyways, disease-modifying therapies are super, super important to get on, and there's lots of different options out there. And I think the other big piece is making sure that it's a shared decision that you make with your neurologist, because it can be very overwhelming now with like 20 medications. Here, choose one. I think it's really important to be able to make that decision along with your doctor. So I want to mention all the different forms of medication. I want to share my own journey when it comes to disease-modifying therapies. So, like I mentioned, I was on a medication for the first 4.5 years of my diagnosis, which was like an intramuscular shot, which wasn't a whole lot of fun, but I also had to remind myself why I was doing it. But then I had to change medications because I ended up losing my vision in college, which just kind of showed some disease progression. And to me, that was really scary. And so then I decided to go on my first infusion drug. And I was on that for about 3-ish years until my risk of what's called PML, which is a rare brain infection, got a little bit too high for my comfort level. And so I decided to change to an oral medication, which was kind of a new thing for me. And so I took an oral medication for about 4.5 years until a new spinal cord lesion came. And again, that just showed progression. It kind of showed that my medication maybe no longer was working. And so I decided to go on a different infusion medication that I only take twice a year. And so that's what I've been on for the last 3 years. And so far it's been doing its job, slowing down the progression of the disease and slowing down new lesions. And so I'm super thankful to have options, and I'm just really happy to be able to say that the medications are really doing their job. And again, like I said before, all of these decisions were made with my neurologist, making sure that it fit to my lifestyle and that it made sense. Because sometimes it feels really risky changing medications, and trying something new. So I'm really thankful to have doctors that I can partner with to help make those decisions. And so I'm so proud of all the work that's been done with the different medications that have been developed over the years. And I'm really excited about the research that's happening now. I think the new future is potentially disease-modifying therapies that kind of help maybe repair, remyelinate some of the damage that's been done. And so that's some exciting stuff that's hopefully going to come down the road. The other nice thing about disease-modifying therapies these days is that there's actually some available now for people with the more progressive forms of MS, for secondary progressive and primary progressive MS, which that was never the case, like, years ago. And so I think that's another thing that brings a lot of hope for people too. So aside from disease modifying therapies, there's also, symptom management medications. So for me, example, I experience a lot of pain in my legs, also known as spasticity. And so I take a medication that kind of really helps reduce that. And so that's super helpful. So I was kind of talking a little bit about some like preventative care or some of those symptom management medications, and they're super helpful. There's a lot of different ones out there that really help kind of tackle some of those symptoms that just kind of are a bother sometimes every single day. Some of them can help people with their walking or maybe bladder or their fatigue or you name it. There's some sort of a medication out there that can kind of help mitigate some of those symptoms. But along with that, also something that's super helpful and it's really good for you is lifestyle changes. And that means just like living a healthy lifestyle. So exercise is super important, which I love and I'm always preaching and doing. I really want to make sure that people understand that exercise is not only important, but it's safe for people living with MS and that is possible with modifications. But what research is showing with exercise is that it actually can have somewhat of a, I guess you can say like a healing effect. It kind of can help maybe remyelinate or help improve symptoms. Often people think like, if I'm fatigued or if I get overheated, why would I want to exercise? But in reality, what exercise does is it actually helps improve our fatigue, helps get, build our endurance, helps strengthen our muscles or maintain muscle strength. And so exercise is so, so important. And often people should start seeing exercise as a form of medication, but in a way that benefits you in multiple ways, not only physically, but mentally and emotionally as well. And so exercise is a super important thing. There's a lot of research going into diet as well. I mean, obviously eating real healthy foods is always important for anybody, but for people living with MS, there's a lot of research being done to see what kind of maybe diet can help with maybe symptom management or potentially to see some changes in disease. That is still to be determined, but there's a lot of research going into diet as well. And aside from just exercise and diet, the other things that we also need to make sure that we are taking care of is our mental and emotional well-being as well. And so making sure that, you're taking care of that side, whether that's seeing somebody to making sure that you have purpose in life. I mean, I think purpose is super important, knowing that you have something to wake up for in the morning, whether that's being a mom to having a job. And so I think those things can often be neglected. And so that's also important as well. And so I do want to share that the National MS Society has incredible resources. The MS Navigators are amazing. If you call that 1-800 number that you see down here at the bottom, and give them a call, they can help connect you to resources and information to help with all these different things that I kind of talked about. Obviously, disease-modifying therapies is something that you should be talking to your doctor about, but they're happy to get you connected to emotional help, mental health, support, to getting connected with other people living with MS. I think that there's something really strong and important about connecting with others who walk the same journey as you. And so make sure you give the MS Navigators a call if you are not yet connected to the National MS Society, and know that all the different fundraising things that we do, that a lot of that money goes to resources and support for people living with MS, and it also goes into research to help improve our knowledge of what diet and exercise or biomarkers for MS, it all goes towards that, which is super exciting because, like our mission statement says, that we will see a cure in our lifetime, and I believe it. So all that to say, happy Monday. I hope you've learned something new, and go out there and show MS who's boss, and don't let it stop you. Have a great day. Next week, we'll be back for more information on MS. Bye.